Hey guys, it's Shirley, and even though I do have quite a talent of arriving fashionably at the last minute to a lot of things, this year I decided that I would prepare for Artfight early. I know, I don't believe it either. I'm usually not early to things. Last year was my first time participating in Artfight. Artfight is a yearly artist event that happens every July, where you can pick one of two teams, and then you spend the month making fan art or attacks of the other team's original characters. Long story short, it's basically like this art gifting event, but it's like competitive too. And part of the event is making references of your OCs so people know what they look like and can draw them to attack you. I participated last year and had a lot of fun with it, and I want to do it again this year. The thing is, last year I kind of decided I wanted to participate and started preparing pretty close to like when the event was starting, like mid-late June. Which kind of put me in like a crunch mode, like of having to get all my references set up and getting it ready. And the main types of references that I did were basically collages of old art that I did, as well as sketches that I colored in digitally. Which I think worked really well. I got like references that I was happy with and people were able to draw my characters. But I really wanted to do something a little bit extra this year and make like full body references of all my characters. Not because I think they're necessary, but because I thought it would be a good reference to give people, and also a good practice for me as an artist, because I usually avoid full body art. It feels like more difficult, even though it's just usually adding legs to whatever drawing I'm doing. So for like this Artfight prep, I challenged myself to draw full body poses, as well as poses that kind of give off the vibes of the character while clearly communicating their design. This video is basically going to be me showing you guys my speed paints and yapping a little bit about my OCs. We've got a lot of art to get into, so let's get into the speed paints. See you guys there! So the first character that I made a reference for is my Star Wars OC, Savannah. Savannah is based on the character I played as in the ancient video game Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. If you've seen like more than one of my videos, then I've probably brought it up at least once. It's this ancient Star Wars game that holds a very special place in my heart. She's a Jedi with amnesia who has to fight a big bad Darth guy, as you do in most Star Wars movies. And she's exploring the galaxy with her pals, and kind of has like this fun attitude that I really love for a character like her. A lot of my doodles of her are just her being silly and goofing off with the other party members from the game. I made this design of my character from that game based on the character I played as in my first playthrough, or this portrait here, which I adapted into an actual character design a few years ago for a YouTube video. 3 years ago, wow, time flies! Something fun about Savannah is that because she's based on a character I played as when I was 8 and kind of evolved over the years, a fun nod to the fact that I made her when I was 8 is her name. So I was a second grader at the time, right? And I was learning about all kinds of different habitats, and you know, the savanna is a habitat. And I really liked the flow of the word Savannah, so as an 8-year-old I was like, you know what, I'm naming my character Savannah. And I decided to keep that name when I redesigned her in 2022. And now she's kind of evolved into like an actual OC of mine. So that's her backstory. For her pose, I kind of wanted her to look sporty because she's kind of like, I imagine her as almost like this jock type person, like she's very athletic and very jokey with people. So I kind of gave her this pose where she was stretching based on like a reference I found on Pinterest, and a fun expression, and I'm happy with how the overall posing for this turned out. And yeah, that's Savannah! Formerly known as spoilers, bro, spoilers! Okay, sorry, the game's like 20 years old, I didn't think anyone would care about spoilers! The next character that I drew a full body reference for is one that wasn't on my profile yet, and that person is London Admirante from Mascot Unmasked, which is my web series that I'm working on, and it's kind of on hiatus right now. I'm kind of trying to figure out what I want to do with it story-wise and like the format I want to tell it in. But London is so fun. I love her character so much. And on her art profile, I kind of put some spoilers because it's stuff that's like relevant to her character, but I haven't gotten into yet in the series. She's a sweetheart. She's also Quinn's sweetheart. She's the main character's love interest in the series, but she's also just so much fun. I kind of made her fashion slightly alt-inspired with the whole like layered shirts, and almost like a slightly scene hairstyle. The outfit that you see her wear in episode 4 of my web series isn't a very good representation of her vibe because like that's what she's wearing at her job at the school gym, and it's just the work uniform. So I wanted to draw her in something she would have picked for herself. But yeah, London is so much fun. I'm excited to make more stuff with her and like her talking with Quinn because she's just really adorable. She's very like open about her feelings. Out of all the characters in the story, she's kind of the most expressive about what's on her mind. and she's very friendly. For London's pose, I kind of wanted something that's kind of energetic and like kind of open and feels genuine. So like hers is kind of in motion, she's kind of scratching her neck a little bit. I don't know, it feels very her. But yeah, this is London. I love drawing her, she's so fun. And now that I've drawn London, the next character that I drew for my character prep sheets was Quinn Zanzara, sophomore of Falconsville University, the main character of my web series, Mascot Unmasked, and, secretly, the mascot of this school, Manny the Mosquito. For this reference of Quinn, I wanted to kind of play more with her outfit, because I've always pictured her as like somebody who likes to play with fashion and accessorizing and hairstyles and things. But so far, until like more recent episodes of Mascot Unmasked, I had her in a lot of like, I guess very simple clothes, like a hoodie and like a tank top, and that's about it. So I thought I'd play more with her fashion and give her more of like a feminine look. So for this outfit, I tried to incorporate that, with like high-waisted pants that kind of flare out at the bottom, and like a boat neck top that's like a sweater. I try to have at least one piece of merch from her school in every outfit, so for this one, it's the sweater with the Falconsville University logo. For her pose, I wanted something confident and very, like, I guess fashionable in a sense. She kind of looks like she's posing on a runway while holding her, like, gym bag. And that is my drawing of Quinn! Next up, we have a reference for Manny the Mosquito, who I technically didn't put as a character on my Artfight profile, but I wanted to include him as a reference for Quinn since, you know, he's the mascot that she portrays. So I tried to have this drawing of him be to scale to my drawing of Quinn to show like how it kind of lines up. Because a fun fact that we kind of get into later in the series is all of Quinn's family is very, very tall. 6 feet or taller generally, and Quinn's kind of like the odd one out. Manny is technically like the shortest he's ever been when Quinn is the one portraying him. And then I'm still trying to finalize my design for Manny. For this one I took some inspiration from actual mascots and had him wear like a sports jersey and pants, since I figured I should give Manny clothes. That sounds horrible with no context, but in his original design, the mosquito is naked, okay? So I was like, I'm gonna give him something to wear. What's common for school mascots at like football events is to wear like a jersey with the team, sometimes like the number 0, and then like pants that match the sport. Even though technically it's football, I gave him basketball shorts, that's okay. I might change his design. I'm still trying to decide how I feel about it, because his wings are kind of more bird wings than mosquito wings. But I think it's kind of funny that it's off, so I'm not sure if I want to make them more accurate, like have the arms be arms and give him wings behind him, like is common with actual mosquito mascots, or if I just want to keep the bird wings because it's funny. And yeah, that's Manny the Mosquito, the much beloved mascot of Falconsville University. I wanted to just draw him spreading school spirit. And the next character we have is Falconsville's favorite talk show host, Jimothy Flannelly. Jimothy is honestly one of like my favorite OCs that I've created because it kind of just happened. Like his design and him just kind of happened and I just kept going with it. He's a talk show host with sunglasses, mustache, and a goatee and a suit that's completely plaid because peak fashion. Because I'm lazy, I don't actually draw like the plaid on. I use the suit color as a base and then clip a plaid pattern over it. It saves time, okay? And it still communicates that his clothes are plaid. For the posing here, I was starting to run out of pose ideas. Posing characters is definitely something that I've been wanting to work on and like learn how to make more interesting poses. But because I ran out of ideas, I had to start looking to memes. Because I wanted something that just had like, I don't know, cool guy vibes. So the pose here that Jimothy is in is from the I be poppin' bottles, sparkles and champagne meme. It's like one of those images. And I was like, you know what, this pose is so sassy and so confident, I'm gonna draw Jimothy doing that pose. My friend Cam has made some fan art of Jimothy in the past. They actually did an attack of him last year. Every time they draw Jimothy, they give him so much sass, and I love it so much. I love that he's like sassy and that he's confident and he has like cool poses. So I wanted to give him a pose that looked cool, so I used this like fun meme pose because I thought it'd kind of communicate like, he's a cool, fashionable talk show host. I guess if you're not a fan of plaid, maybe the fashionable thing is debatable. But Jimothy is a lot of fun to draw. He's the biggest talk show host in Falconsville, which is the town that Mascot Unmasked takes place in. And his talk show is called Mid-Afternoon with Jimothy Flannelly. Has a nice ring to it, don't you think? This is Jimothy. Next character that I drew a reference for was Soup. She is a android character that I created for a Starfinder campaign 5 years ago. This design is ancient, and all my Artfight references of her are like so old. You can kind of see how far I've improved in digital art over the years. I've had this design for a while, and I really like the purple-yellow contrast of her design with like the wires and like the face. And even though I haven't like played as her in almost 5 years, I have been like slowly developing a story with her. So maybe I can use her for like a story that I've been thinking of, where she is a professor of a spaceship that functions as a university. She's also a mechanic because that was her role in her travels before she kind of pursued academia. She's pretty casual in her wear, which is why she has like mechanic clothes, and she'll often do mechanic duties when needed on the ship because it's a pretty short-staffed university spaceship. So even though professor is her main role, sometimes she has to like help with problems on the ship. It helps that she can not die in a vacuum. She's an android, so she doesn't need to breathe, which is very useful. For her pose, I wanted something casual. This overall pose that I drew of her, like, I don't know why, but like something about the way I drew her reminds me of Senku Ishigami from Dr. Stone. He's probably done this exact pose before with the same vibe, but I drew it with my OC Soup. It's honestly cool to see how my art has evolved over the years and like how she looks different now. And then I drew on the wires, which I draw them differently every time I draw her. I'll admit it, I made the design years ago and I made it needlessly complex, so sometimes I'll simplify or I'll change it, and I'm not super obsessed at this point in my life with getting it perfectly right. Soup is short for 50-UP, which is like her android name, but then she goes by Soup. The reason she's named Soup is because in the campaign that I played her as, we had this bit where all the characters, like if you put the names together, we'd make chili. So her name is Soup. We had another person in the party named Bean, and then we had another person in the party named Pepper. So, you know, Soup, Bean, and Pepper, all of those together makes a pretty good chili. I know, it's great. And last but not least, for the character references that I made, we have the football averaginaire, Emory Actoro. He is a football player. I was really struggling on the ideas for what poses to draw him in, so I was like, I will draw him in a way where people can tell he's a football player. And how do I do that? By having him spin a football like a basketball. I googled it and it's possible. It's probably way trickier than spinning a basketball. And even if it's not possible, Emory is just so good at football that he found a way to do it. Drawing Emory was a lot of fun because I feel like I don't draw him enough. He hasn't had enough appearances in the series yet. He's Quinn's friend and workout buddy. Their dynamic is funny because, you know, he cares a lot about school and Quinn could not care less. So it's a fun dynamic in that way. My reference of him here doesn't really show it, but like if you put him next to my references of Quinn in London, you can see it more. He's supposed to be 6 feet tall, which like in the friend group there's like a pretty huge like height difference. Like Quinn is roughly 5'1", London is like 5'7", and Emory is 6'0". That was something that was actually really fun about doing all these full body references, is when I was in the sketch phase, I put them all in the same picture so I could kind of scale everybody and be like, okay, how do they all look relative to each other? So even though this reference isn't the best depiction of it, Emory's pretty tall. And Emory is so much fun. He's got the split hair, he's got freckles and a goatee, and he's just very friendly and very fun, and he puts up with like an impressive amount of Quinn's BS. But yeah, that is Emory from my series Mascot Unmasked. And we did it, guys! These are my full body references that I drew for Artfight, and I'm pretty confident in these. I think that they're good depictions of the characters that'll be easier to follow than like the collages I made a year ago. And I think it was a good exercise in drawing full body poses. Admittedly, I kind of speedran this because I knew that if I went too slow with it, I would immediately be like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? This is a lot of art. I cannot do this. So I'm really impressed with myself and my ability to make this many full body drawings, something that was previously kind of scary to me, in a pretty short amount of time. I think I did this all in like about 10 days, which is a lot of art to draw in 10 days. I was kind of a little bit overboard with it, admittedly. My advice is to do things at your own pace. I wanted to challenge myself, so that's why I did this, but like, overworking yourself should not like be the standard. But overall, I am happy with the art I made, and I'm proud that I have like these references that I'm happy with that I can stick on my Artfight for you guys. I also made all this cute pixel art to stick on my like welcome page. I assume the Speedpaint is currently showing like the pixel art that I had in the video, and that was me kind of trying to get more practice with pixel art and also wanting to make little pixel art chibis of my OCs to put on the little welcome page for my Artfight, because I thought that would be cute. I'm really excited for Artfight. A few of my friends are also participating this year, so I'm hyped for that. If you haven't done Artfight before and are looking forward to it, I'd highly recommend trying it out. It's a cool way to experiment with your art and also kind of feel connected with the art community. So if you haven't tried Artfight before and are interested in it, I'd highly recommend giving it a shot. My main advice is just don't burn yourself out trying to make super elaborate references if you're short on time, and know that you'll get burnt out. If you want to see my Artfight profile, I have it linked in the description below, as well as all my other social media links. And thank you guys so much for watching this video until the end. If you'd like to support my channel, liking the video always helps, and like leaving a comment. And if you'd like to come back and see more of my videos, feel free to subscribe. I do all kinds of things on my channel, from speedpaint videos to animations to my web series Mascot Unmasked to song covers. It's kind of a free-for-all, but almost always I have digital art as like the main thing that connects all my stuff, and it's a fun time. So if you want to hang out on my corner of the internet, I'd highly recommend subscribing to my channel. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know in the comments if you're participating in Artfight, or if like you're thinking about participating in Artfight. And until the next video, I'll surely see you around. Bye!